Warming up. Come on, jazz hands. We're live. We're live. There goes Mike from MW Tactical. We are live. We are live. I hope you got your big girl panties on. This is episode 321 of the Who Moved My Freedom podcast, coming to you live from the Strange Media Studios here in Gainesville. We've got one of our guests tonight. There he goes, Mike from MW Tactical.
What's going on?
In the house. We also have Patrick Roberts of the Firearm Rack. He's gonna be on here probably in a few minutes. He's out at the range getting some shooting in, but he'll be joining us pretty soon. And the title of our show tonight is "Sue Parents for Giving Birth to You?" ? And that's the title. Do you know why, right, Mike?
I read it. I don't understand it, but maybe we can make some sense of this.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a tall order, but we'll try. We'll try. If you guys don't know, you could just search this. There's a knucklehead out there who's trying to sue his parents because they didn't get his permission before giving birth to him. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a bunch of things here on the show tonight. We're definitely going to do some more Gorn. I know we haven't done as much Gorn as you guys would probably like out there, so we're going to do some more Gorn. I have something in this little container right here. What is this thing? Like a pouch?
Man, that looked like a little bit of some action going on.
Yeah, suppressor all the way up in there from Liberty. So I'm going to show you guys that. And I've brought in some guns and things like that for show and tell. So we're definitely going to do that up in here. I want to remind everyone out there, please smash the thumbs, okay? Let's see all those thumbs ups out there from everyone. Also, make sure you share this. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed, subscribe now. Then ring the bell. All very important things. If you're wondering, oh, I didn't know the show was coming on, I don't get notified. Sometimes YouTube unsubscribes you. If you don't hit that notification bell, they don't tell you that we're coming on. All kinds of craziness. So that's what we're dealing with. Let me see. Hey, Lola, can you close this door? Yeah, so let's see. You know what? Yesterday, Mike, since we had John Tig Tigan on from Benghazi, I don't know if you ever heard of Tig.
Yes, I heard of him. Popular guy.
Yeah, very nice guy. He was on yesterday, so the show was a little wild and crazy. So I didn't really shout out anyone. So I'll go through and shout out some folks tonight. I see SoCal Gunner out there, Chris Williams, DCG 44s, Richard Hughes is out there, Scott Lyon also. Let's see who else we've got. Armament and Axes is out there. Hey, would you blow me? He's out there. Flopping Garbage. Let's see who else we've got. Jade Grew is out there. Pistol Packing Mama Corey Williams is out there. She says, hey, y'all. We've also got Bricks, Mr. FNH, Jake Delahome. Jake Delahome says, any of y'all live near Madeira Beach, Florida? A city councilwoman is in the news for sexual assault by licking city manager's face. Laugh out loud. I don't know if you heard about that one.
No, I haven't heard about that one.
Yeah, Florida is always getting up to stuff, man. Florida, I live in Florida, and I enjoy the Sunshine State. I want to make the Sunshine State, the Gunshine State all over again, because we kind of like fell back a little bit. We're not the Gunshine State anymore that we should be. But, we're always in the news. Someone Florida, some part of Florida, it's a long place. It's a long place.
It almost sounds like you're borderline getting like California a little bit.
Yeah. Well, Florida is the dingus of America. So I think
all right. So give us a definition of what you mean by dingus.
Dingus, the schlong, the Johnson.
I got you.
It's the manpower, let's put it that way, of America.
The muscle behind the tussle.
Yeah, and for that reason, sometimes as a man, you have to know, like my mom always told me, you got to keep your business clean because otherwise things could go wrong. Florida gets real dirty. Let's just put it that way. So there's always something. There's always something going on here. So we'll talk about that one. That one's in the news. We could talk about it here. Psycho 316, Rob Avis. Let's see. We've got the Archangel. Brian Nisel is also here. Greg 98K. Just trying to make sure I go through, get everyone in here. Imposter, Jafari H. Jafari H says, what's happening today, my strange locked and loaded brethren? There you go. That's the channel we're on, the lifestyles of the locked and loaded. You know, shout out also, you know what? I want to shout out here while I'm shouting out everyone that's here. I want to shout out all the people who actually download the podcast from iTunes and Podbean and all the other places that the podcast is on. We've got about 60,000 downloads at this point, you know, which I think is really cool. And then let me see, I captured some stats from the thing yesterday. So here we go. So most of our listeners are in the United States of America, which is awesome. But we have some people out in Canada. There's 15 people in Canada, Mike.
Only 15?
15 people. We're taking over Canada slowly.
Hey, you got to start somewhere, right?
15 people in Canada are listening to this. If those 15 people told 15 people and they told 15 people, it would be like that old AIDS commercial. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Yeah, I saw it.
But it would be like that, and we would take over Canada completely.
All right, then. So let's just call it the Canada takeover then. Yeah,
let's get more Canadians out there, you know.
Just stay away from the bacon. I don't do bacon, but we can do anything else.
Me neither. I don't eat pork at all.
Yeah, me neither. Hey, great minds can flight.
Yeah, absolutely. And close behind Canada, you're not going to believe this, Germany.
Oh, I can understand Germany.
What, do you think it's some soldiers or something over there? Maybe, I don't know. Why do you think Germany? Why do you think Germany?
Well, when I was over in Germany, because I didn't like the television programs over there, how it was set up, because I wasn't used to it.
Okay.
I would watch YouTube. You know, so I would just go through YouTube and pick various shows and watch them like that.
Okay, that makes sense. Shout out to everyone in Germany. You know, you're welcome. Same thing applies to Germany. You guys tell 14 people, they tell 14 people, you're having sex with everybody. The United Kingdom, the UK, we've got 8 people. So okay, none of them is Liam Neeson. None of them.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. As long as it isn't Liam Neeson, we're good. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's okay. It's okay. I don't mind Liam Neeson listening to this. It's all right.
You might learn something. You know,
listen, I know that there's a lot of hate out there. I don't think that we should we should tar and feather him or anything like that. You know, I know there's a lot of hate out there. At the same time, you know, he had some dark thoughts in the past, and we got to examine that. You know, we have to be honest with ourselves about it. What I believe is because of his dark thoughts, he should support guns, because people would need guns to defend themselves against people like him with dark thoughts, right?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but the whole thing is I don't understand how you are against guns, but every movie you pretty much made has something to do with the gun, defending somebody and something you believe in or their livelihood.
Yeah, it's hypocritical, without a doubt. Yeah. What do you think about this whole controversy? I don't know if you heard about it. I don't know if you're even aware of it, but there's a whole thing out there because he said years ago when he was a younger man, someone raped a family member close to him, and it happened to be a black guy. So he was really mad, and he was out there for a couple of weeks walking around with with some kind of blunt object, hoping to get into a fight with like any black guy. What do you think about that?
I don't agree with it, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I said, the whole thing goes back into, if you ask me about somebody who's a racist, I honestly say I don't believe a racist is they know they're a true racist. All right? Okay. Somebody has to point it out to them. And
do you think we all have racism in our hearts somewhere at some point? We've all done things.
Not so much racism, but I can say hatred, but not racism.
Okay. Right. You know yeah. So. I think ultimately that's what a lot of this is. You know, we try to let like the other human beings, even if they don't look exactly the same as us, they are the closest thing on the planet to us. Right. You know, pretty much underneath this skin, we're very much the same, even though we obviously have different genetics and things like that. I think what happens though, for this has happened from the beginning of man. I think that when we get mad, when we have our own inadequacies, we have jealousies and all that kind of stuff, we take it out on people and we try to attach things personal to those people about it, right?
I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
So,
but you also know how it goes back also. It bounces back to a hypocritical person, whereas let's take the Liam Neeson thing right now. By him being that, if everybody was to come down on him and it was to affect him making movies and him getting paid, now you're going to start seeing the big apology come out. And then what is he going to do next after that to try to justify it? But we can always say people are liable to change, because somebody can teach you something that opens up your mind to bring you back to reality.
And I think he's trying to say that he changed and all that. I don't really even care about all of that. Yeah, I think it's a big controversy. It's drama that's out there. That's kind of like the flavor of the week, and it'll eventually die down. We kind of have a lot of that going on right now with everything that's in Virginia. It's like every other day, and every day, someone in Virginia put on blackface. I think here's what we should do, Mike. I don't know. I think me and you, we're probably qualified to do this. Can we have like a moratorium or like some kind of what is it, like a armistice or something like that, where all the white people who did blackface in the past, we allow them to confess, and then we'll just move on after that. No, because there's a lot of people coming out of the woodworks now. There's a lot of people coming out.
I'm more like this. This is what needs to take place. How about we just say this? Right now, today, at this time, at 1912 Eastern Standard Time, the BS stops. Everything else after that, we have the right to take our belts off and get busy with somebody and put them back on the right path.
Okay, so everything you did up to this moment,
up until this moment, you're good.
That's true, man. That's true. Listen, let me continue before I go back to shouting out people. We actually have 5 people in Switzerland.
What?
Yes, there's 5 people in Switzerland.
Oh, wow.
Sitting on fat Swiss bank accounts. I don't know. I don't know if everyone in Switzerland's got Swiss. Well, if you're in Switzerland and you have a bank account, you have a Swiss bank account, I'm guessing. So we got 5 people from Switzerland, man. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, even though you're touching international realm, like I said, you got to start somewhere. And Switzerland, me personally, I never really thought people from Switzerland shoot guns. I mean, not saying they don't, but
Yeah. Well, I think there's people all over the world that are interested in what we're talking about. We don't just talk about guns, but we talk about a bunch of different things out there. So I appreciate all the people listening, man. I just want to mark it because today it's 5, tomorrow it's 50, then it's 500, then 5,000.
Snowball.
Yeah. We got nowhere to go but up from here. But up from here. So let me go back to shouting out the people who are in here. Some people are probably going to get double shout outs because by now I forgot that I shouted you out already. So that's how it goes. The Juice. Shout out to the Juice. Let's see what's going on. Flopping Garbage, Christian Grest, Randy Peacock, James Lawson, Boss Hog, Rondell Stewart. Let's see who else we have in here. Screaming Skull Saloon. Pixamite 1 is in here as well. Let's see. Simpson Road Larry. He says thumbs ups. Some thumbs up. Screaming Skull Saloon. Says it's Mike. He's shouting you out, Mike.
Word. How's it going?
MC1SC, aka Mika, says what's up. James Miller, the Canine Coach. Shout out to the Canine Coach. Let's see who else we got. Len Holt, Dream Weaver Man. Let's see who else we got. Bragg Mo is here as well. Moo Butts, Brian Wyatt, Special K. Shout out to Special K. Drew Cipher. Okay, Drew Cipher. I see Drew Cipher in here. Snake Doctor 78. Michael Bender. Michael Bender says Switzerland is huge with guns. They also build the best. Love my K31 and K11. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. We got some people in Switzerland, Candido Torres also here. Let's see who else we got. Daihatsu Dan Hatsu. Dan, I'm gonna assume that's what it is. Dan hates you, maybe. More better.
I'm still tripping out of some of the names here in the chat.
Yeah. So let's see who else. I think that's it. Kenny Van Cleve. Let's see. Big Cliff is also here. So Rich White. Rich White says Mike needs to go to VA and get those fools doing PT, get their heads right. Rafael Morales also out there. I think I shouted out Mr. FNH before. So yeah, that's it. Listen, I don't know what's going on in Virginia, man.
And you know, the sad part is I'm originally from Virginia. And
oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, so none of that stuff actually surprised me that it went down like that, you know.
Yeah.
So, I can understand like the turmoil that's going on in that area right now. So I know it's hectic and crazy.
Yeah, I think, and this is something. By the way, Dallas Purcell says he's here, so shout out to him. This is something I think we have to take into consideration. I'm not excusing anyone of anything, but we have to realize that it's very difficult to judge people from yesterday by today's standards, right?
That's very true. Very true.
Yeah, because we all did things yesterday. And by yesterday, I mean 10, 20, 30 years ago.
You know, changes, you know, people can change, you know, so
Yeah.
we shouldn't hold that against people because you got to learn from your mistakes. That's the only true way you're going to learn.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff going on. We just have to have some kind of like grace period or something where everyone comes out and like at this point, I think that's going to happen. There's going to be lots of scared people right now that they're going to be like, you know what? While this is going on, I better come out and admit that I did something, because then it's all going to get lost in the shuffle here.
Well, the best part about it with Liam quote, I guess you can say, was nobody dug it up. He volunteered that information, and like it came out in an interview or a conversation like that. But
yeah,
it wasn't like it was something else that led up to it and people just started talking about it.
Yeah, that's true. He brought it up. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to him, what he was smoking before he went to do that.
Maybe he just wanted to confess. Like, let me throw it out there before somebody finds it.
Yeah, he's getting old too. I think he's like 67 or something, you know. Yeah. So Walther is out there, Safety Harbor Firearms. Shout out to Walther. And then Soul King. I don't know who that is, Soul King, but Soul King is out there also. Shout out to Soul King. So okay, so that's it. Let's see. I think that's all the shout outs for now. If someone wants a shout out, we could definitely do it, but we'll see. What out there in the news? You know what? Let's go to this this news about the guy who's suing his parents. I think that's something we definitely have to conversate about. I'll throw up this Fox News article for you guys to read. Mike, I know you already read it. So here we go. Here's the headline. Indian man to sue his parents for giving birth to him without his consent. Wants to be paid for his life. He wants to be paid for his life. So a 27-year-old Indian man is going viral after he announced an intent to sue his parents, claiming he didn't give his explicit consent to bring him into the world. Raphael Samuel, donning a fake beard and sunglasses, said in a YouTube video posted on Tuesday that he's suing his parents because he was conceived without his consent and therefore his parents should pay for his life. I want everyone in India and the world to realize one thing, that they are born without their consent. I want them to understand that they do not owe their parents anything, he said. If we are born without our consent, we should be maintained for our life. We should be paid by our parents to live. Yeah, my kids would probably like this if this was true, but screw that. It's bullshit. Not true. You need to thank your parents every day for being in the world. Okay, and show some appreciation. So wow. You know,
the funny part
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say the funny part is, how did he even come up with that concept?
Well, I think it says here, see, he says to children, I would like to say, do not do anything for your parents if you do not want to. If you want to, if you truly, genuinely feel like doing it, do it, he added. Samuel has been reported as a follower of anti-natalism, an increasingly popular yet bizarre ideology that believes that it is morally wrong for people to procreate and takes a nihilistic approach towards human life, saying that humanity brings only suffering. Dude, just leave the planet.
So what about that? There is like that given law that, you know, your parents take care of you up until the age of 18, then you step out in the world on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And then whatever you do after that, that's up to you. Like, if you don't want to be here, do whatever you feel you got to do to move away or make your life more enjoyable and peaceful. But
right now, what I don't understand about, he's in India. His parents need to go just flog him. That's what I think. Go collect him, you know, take him to the town square, give him a sound thrashing, and say, did I ask permission to kick your ass just now? No.
Hey, a leather belt will solve that situation.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, but you know what? Okay, listen. Yes, you're not in control of your destiny in terms of being born into the world, right? Fair enough. But you're in the world. Okay. When you come to a certain age, regardless of what it is, I don't really believe it's 18, but let's say you come to a certain age and you feel like you're, you know, like my mother would say, oh, you're smelling yourself now.
Right.
So, you know, that means that, oh, you're like, you know, your hormones are kicking up. You think you're hot shit or whatever. When you come to that realization, you do what you want to with your life. You know, you don't want to be here with the rest of us, leave.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Nobody's holding you down. Nobody's holding you back. Leave. You know,
that's true.
Do what you got to do. You don't want to be here. But it's, wow. Yeah. So,
yeah. I just want to be in the room when they're holding this conversation to watch people actually debate this. Like, please make this make sense to me. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. What is this? Ronald Hotboy says, I would sue my parents, but have you all seen my dad? Oh, man. Yeah. Psycho 316 said, how about we sue on behalf of those that were aborted without their consent? So
I wonder how much.
I don't think this is gonna, I think he's in the wrong place for this because India doesn't really care. You know, this is going to go a little viral in India, but eventually somebody's going to catch up to him.
Well, I don't know about that bad costume he got going on. It's supposed to change his appearance. It ain't really working too good.
Right. Rondell Stewart says, this is a quote from his dad. I brought you into the world. I could take you out. Then he says, me, did you get my permission to bring me in? Smack. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, that right there, man. Once this makes like major news, I'm waiting on the memes to happen because that's going to be an all-day affair where you
the silliest part is that he's wearing like a fake beard and sunglasses. This is just someone just wanting to go viral. And yes, you're right. You know what? There's going to be a lot of memes.
It's coming.
Yeah. You don't have to do anything, dude. You don't have to do anything. You know, you don't want to be here. You don't have to be here. Get on a spaceship, leave.
I wonder if anybody in the chat can find like at least the first 5 or 10 that's already been put up about this. Somebody had to make a meme for this already.
Oh, memes? Yeah, I guarantee you there's memes out there. So, you know, yeah. Wait till that spreads to America. I guarantee you someone over here. See, this dude's in India. Someone here in America is going to try this nonsense.
All right. So now let me ask you this now. So your son is in college.
Yeah. I have two boys in college.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just one. So let's just happen to say
they both are.
Both of them came up with this theory, how they're going to attack mom and dad. So I don't believe they're going to talk to Lola like this, but they come to you and say, Dad, we want to sue y'all because of whatever, this BS that they got rid about.
Yeah.
How would you handle that?
Well, I will tell you, if my kids, whenever they have stupid shit that they want to push forward, they don't come to me with the stupid shit. I can just tell you that right now. They do go to Lola. Lola is their queen. Okay. They tell her everything. They tell me I'm the evil dad as far as they're concerned. So they don't come to me with none of that bullshit. They go through Lola first, and then she tries to like smooth it out with me or whatever.
All right.
Because I mean, listen, my mom, both my parents raised me, obviously, but my mom is pretty brutal.
Right.
So, and I think I'm being really nice to my kids, but in their minds, I am a vicious dictator. So they wouldn't tell me this crap because I would be like, oh, okay. You could take whatever you own and leave the house, which is nothing. Nothing. This guy, if this guy was my kid, he wouldn't even have the beard or the sunglasses when he left the house. He could just leave with like all you own is nothing. You could just leave naked and go walk out there.
But when he leaves, is he leaving with lumps?
Listen, I don't think that's necessary. You're a grown man. You want to talk crap to me or whatever, it's all good. All you got to do is leave, man. The best punishment for me is not to have to pay for anything anymore. And I think a lot, like here in America, especially nowadays, parents are doing a lot. Like you said, both of my boys are in college, and that's what's the most important thing right now. So we still take care of them,
right?
And pay for stuff. I remember one day one of them had to get a new cell phone, and I went to Best Buy, and they were both there. And the girl in Best Buy that was helping us out was their age. And I said to her, who buys you your phones and who pays your phone bill? And she laughed. She was like, nobody. I pay my own phone bill. Mm-hmm. And I was like, look, you two boys should be ashamed of yourselves. Yeah. And they were just like, whatever, dude. So I mean, they are a little bit spoiled as it is right now. So
yeah.
Huh?
They do come from me first.
Yeah, they do. See, Lola said it. What's that?
I was talking about the earring thing.
Oh, the earring thing? Oh, Lola wants, yeah. One of my sons wanted to get an earring.
Oh, how did that go?
His ears pierced? That not very well. He went to Lola. He told Lola that he wanted to get his ears pierced.
Right.
I was like, that's man shit. When you're your own man and you think you can do whatever you want to do it.
Right.
But as far as I'm concerned, the answer is no. If I'm paying for everything for you, the answer is no.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Now listen, he's 19 and he could come home one day with an earring or whatever. But honestly, I told him, listen, there's things in life that you don't have to rush to. You have your whole life to do it. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to rush out there right now and go get your ears pierced or get a tattoo. And I'm not against any of those things. I have friends that have like everything pierced and tattoos all over the place. But I just think that that's one of those things. Like, who are you trying to? This is what I was asking him. Who are you trying to impress with piercing your ears? Because if you're trying to like impress some chicks or something like that, you have your ears pierced, but you don't have a job.
Right.
You don't pay your own bills. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make any sense. That's not man shit to me,
Right.
So
now,
yeah, that was my answer on that one. So far as I know, he does not have his ears pierced. I don't care if he does, but as far as I'm concerned, my answer is no. And if you have to even come ask me, then yourself that the answer is no.
Now, remember when we was kids, it was like an end thing to get the one ear pierced.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Did you even do that as a teenager?
No, man. Look, no ear pierced. I have nothing like that. I have no tattoos. And I'm not against that, man. My older brother has like everything pierced. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Even his Florida is pierced.
Oh, wow.
So and I'm cool with that. That's how he's got a lot of tattoos and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I don't have I have zero issues with that, but I was just never that person. And my kids could do whatever they want, but not when I am paying for shit.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah. That's my motivation to pay for your own shit. If you don't want to ask me anything, pay for your own stuff.
Yeah. Now I got a few tattoos, and I had one ear pierced. And the one ear that I had pierced, I remember I was 16 when I got the one ear pierced.
So you were in high school?
I was in high school at this time. And
you were living with your parents?
I was living with my father.
Your father, okay. Yeah. And what did he think about that?
He was like, he didn't care as long as I paid for it. I just had to live with the consequences that come with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What?
3 days after I got my ear pierced, I got into a fight, and the guy hit me on the side of my ear, and my ear swelled up so bad because I just got it pierced.
Oh wow.
And I never put another earring back in my ear after that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, and then when did you get all those tattoos? When you went into the military or when you were in high school?
No,
okay.
all my tattoos were when I joined the military.
Yeah, man. Look, that's man shit though.
Yeah.
When you signed up, you belong to the government.
Exactly.
You decided to give yourself over to the government for that time period. I can't hate on you for that,
Right.
And I'm not, like I said, man, I'm not against all that stuff. I personally didn't do that. But just as far as I'm concerned, is when your parents are responsible for you, why are you trying to look all coolio smooth, like you're a badass or whatever it is that you feel that you need to do that. You're in college, you got time. And I'm not mad about taking care of my sons either, I'm happy to do that. That's something that Lola and I are able to do. We're happy to do it. I'm the one that if they don't really, like, when they got out of high school, they didn't really know what they wanted to do. So I don't believe you have to go to college, but I think that if you don't know what you want to do, and you're a young person out there, both of my boys were like 17 when they graduated high school. And if you don't know what you want to do, listen, you could burn through those 4 years real quick, right?
Right.
If you go when you're young, but if you try to go back and do that when you get older, not so easy. So I'm happy to do it, but that's just one of those things, man. That's just one of those things. Really, if you got to ask about it, then
Well, actually, what you're doing is you're giving another perspective of life, whereas you're giving them something to look at and a matter of, okay, my rules, my way of belief. If you want to do it, you go out and you do it on your own, this side or another. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Flopping Garbage says right ear or left, because USA is different than what ear means in other countries. Means up. Well, and then some people now just get both ears.
Yeah, well, I know Michael Jordan has both ears pierced, but I'm not saying that's the standard by anybody.
Yeah, I've seen lots of rappers and celebrities and stuff like that with both ears.
But I had my left ear was pierced.
Oh, okay. And that means, was that the one that means you're not gay, or?
Honestly, it was the thing when I was a teenager. That's what
I think in the 80s, like the whole thing, maybe in the 80s, that was an indication of some sort of something. I don't know. I have zero issues with people that have piercings and tattoos and all that kind of stuff. I think it's really cool. When you're this good looking, though, you don't need to do none of that shit. Yeah, my body is a temple. I want to make it as big as possible. I want to be one of those churches that expands.
How's that working for you with the
offer? Yeah, we're working on expansion right now. The Juice says you're an instant badass when you wear tap out shirts and have tap out scroll across your rear truck. Wait, do people still do that?
I never wore tap out shirts. Yeah, I can honestly. Now I have a pair of tap out shorts, but I never wore a tap out shirt.
Yeah, Rodney Brady is saying FSU, FSU. I'm not sure why he's saying that. My son does go to FSU though.
Hey, maybe
that's why he's saying it. Yeah. Flopping Garbage says left is not gay in the U.S. Makes me no difference.
Hey, that was in my days. I was just doing stuff because it appeared to be the cool thing before I was like, that don't make any sense. I ain't doing that.
Yeah. I think that there's certain things out there in life that, when you do those things, there's nothing wrong with it, but you have to know what it means. You can't just do it because it's cool. There's certain things you can do. You could buy a shirt because it's cool, or some sneakers because it's cool, or get a haircut or something because it's cool. Those things fade away and they could be changed. But then there's other things in life that if you do it, it should mean something, in my opinion. But there's lots of people out there that it doesn't mean anything to them. And then there's people that it's profoundly meaningful to them,
Right.
So if you look at my friend Josh from Barnauls, I mean, that's the most tattooed, pierced dude I ever met in my life. And he's very deep thinker. Certainly deeper than me, And all of those things have meanings and stuff like that for him, and that's a life that he's chosen to live, and that people judge him for when they see it. But that's like we were talking about before, man. That's what we all do. No matter what you do, everyone judges everyone else. There's no way that you could avoid. Someone's going to judge you. Oh, this he's tall, he's short,
right?
You know, he's got this thing, he's got that thing. I don't like his face. Yeah.
All right. So it was a couple years ago. I met this guy, big muscle bound guy, looked like he ate horses, you know, instead of chicken. And he all tatted up and everything, but the guy was really smart. And then through the conversation, and come to find out, man, this guy had a couple felonies and everything, but he was like really smart. So I didn't judge him or anything, wasn't scared or nothing like that. But he didn't have a tap out shirt on, though. I can honestly say that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't, you know what? I haven't seen, but there are muscle shirts. There are dudes. Yeah,
some people still wear them, though.
Some dudes like to wear those muscle shirts, or they like to wear shirts sizes too small. So they can brag to you about their muscles. Where, hey, look, you know what? If you put in the work, it's just like chicks that have big boobs and wearing low cut shirts or whatever, so everyone can see the boobage.
Yeah, but
if you got it, you know.
Yeah, might as well just don't wear a shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but listen, man, we all try to accentuate things. Are you saying you don't try to accentuate things about yourself?
All I got to do is smile when I step in a room. That's all I need.
See? Okay, there you go. Yeah, but you see, you think that means something. And then like we were talking about the other day, other people, who was it? Someone was saying that if someone has really white teeth, they think they're crazy.
Yeah. So let me put it out there for the people who don't understand the concept of the tap out shirt. It's nothing more than back in the day when the UFC first got its popularity. The company named Tap Out, they was doing all the artwork for, you know, the UFC. That's their apparel. Just back in the day when you saw like a lot of people who would work out in the gym, they had the Gold's Gym shirt on. Same concept.
Yeah. What is this? Psycho 316 says, then you get mad when they stare.
Oh,
I don't know. Do you get mad when people stare at you?
It took me a long time to get used to it. And just like going to SHOT Show this year, I noticed a lot of people staring at me, but the people who were staring at me, they was looking at me trying to figure out who I was.
Yeah, maybe they were thinking, is that Tiger Woods? I didn't know he was in.
Hey. Tyson Beckford. Let's go with Tyson Beckford.
No, brother. No. Listen, you're cool and everything, but you're not Tyson Beckford, okay?
And I don't want the stigma that comes with Tiger
Woods. I know Tyson Beckford, sir. You are no Tyson. No. No, you're gonna have to bulk up a little bit. You know, you're gonna have to get your tan on and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't like standing in the sun that long.
So Pink Panther 69 says, so tap out shirts are for muscle bunnies, like low cut shirts are for gun bunnies.
Yeah, you know, like a lot of times when you go to like a UFC fight or whatever, you'll see everybody wearing something that says something like I do jiu-jitsu or something like that.
Yeah. There's some other brands. I've seen them. The only place I see them selling those things are in Vegas, though. Like the other the UFC kind of apparel.
Yeah. Because you got to understand it's where the fights actually happen at, and it's popular in those areas.
Yeah.
But I can't say, when I was out there in Vegas, there was a mess load of jiu-jitsu gyms out there. Yeah, and I was looking at it, I was like, wow, man, it's like every other store was a jiu-jitsu gym.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people. I think if you live in Vegas, you know, there's lots of people out there that are getting fit. You know, lots of working out going on.
Have you ever been to San Diego?
San Diego. I'm trying to think if I drove through San Diego.
No, we didn't.
We didn't? Okay, yeah. Okay, Patrick's here. You guys probably hearing him coming in, getting set up right now. Yeah. No, so then I've never been to San Diego, no.
My thing about San Diego was it kind of freaked me out because I honestly thought I was getting punked or something. It seemed like everybody was really fit there, the way they ate, and people was just running up and down the street. And I was like, wow, man, this is real.
There's a joke there, but it's not appropriate at all.
Say that again?
So there's a joke here, but it's not appropriate at all.
Okay. Well, how can you not tell us the inappropriate joke, Patrick?
Hey, just beep out the
The reason
inappropriate.
there's so many fit people in San Diego is all the gays, man.
Oh, okay, understood. I was
No,
good.
it's got a
Okay.
high gay population there.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Understood. You know what? I was gonna say that there's probably someone running around San Diego, and if you are not appropriately good looking or muscled up, they just kidnap you, you know, and sell your body parts or something like that and get rid of you. Yeah.
No, that's further south in California.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see here. Okay.
Apologies for being late, man. Like,
yeah, that's cool. Your voice is a little low, though. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, I'm on my phone, driving back to the house. So, I've had to reconfigure my carry gun like 10 times this week because I've been testing a part for a buddy of mine, and like I didn't feel comfortable having an unzeroed carry piece.
Okay. What's your carry gun?
Right now, it is a 509 midsize that I've modified the crap out of and has a 509 tactical slide on it with a RMR on it.
Okay,
when I get back to the house, I'll show you.
Okay, 509 midsize.
Yes, it's a 509 midsize frame, and I've cut the little toe off of the back strap to like make it have like a little beaver tail thing.
Okay, so an FN.
Yeah. And then I took the 509 tactical slide, since that was the red dot slide I've got for a 509, and put that on the gun with an RMR.
Okay. You know what I'm curious about in that? Like, why are you messing with your carry gun? You know, because I separate what I carry from what, I mean, you know, and I'm not knocking what you're doing. I'm just curious about that.
I've got several carry guns. This just happens to be my favorite right now. But
okay.
So the part that I'm testing is specific to the 509, and like if I'm going to put range time in, I'm going to do it with my carry piece so I get the practice in.
Okay, yeah, you want to make sure that it's actually something that you're going to carry, it's comfortable.
Right. Yeah.
And all that. Okay.
Like that it works and performs as advertised and all that good stuff.
Okay.
The gun that I would be using it with. So,
yeah.
You know, that's why.
Yeah. So there's lots of love, just because I know you're driving and you can't see the chat, but there's lots of love for FN scrolling up right now. Lots of FN love going up. So
it's a great gun, man. Like to confirm my zero, I ended up with my carry ammo, shot a 100 on a B8, so 10 shots at 25 yards in under 3.36 inch. So like I was pretty stoked about that.
Okay. Dan Hates You says I only carry 14 Kel-Tecs. So
it seems like a poor decision, but you know, you do you.
Yeah, there's there's lots of folks out there. Not everyone can ball out and roll with the 509 FN.
Dude, I mean, if you have 14 Kel-Tecs, I feel like you can probably afford a good gun.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's being facetious.
No,
but I know people that's their first gun. Like they get a Kel-Tec, one of the pistols, like the 380 or the 9mm and stuff like that, and that's their first gun. I'm gonna see. Let me see. Which should you get? Should you get a High Point or a Kel-Tec? I think the Kel-Tec's probably going to be more concealable.
So Kel-Tec money, we're talking like $200, right?
Yeah, I'm going to say Kel-Tec is in the 200. High Point's probably like what, the 150-ish? A little less than 200.
So, in that like particular price range, a few more dollars, and you're into the Mossberg MC1 SC, which is basically a Glock that doesn't look like a Glock. So I would take that. Yeah,
but that just came out. That's recent.
Yeah. Prior to that, like for a carry piece, probably a Sky, man.
Yeah, but you can also do used. That's what I tell people. I'm not sure like what you can get for around $200 used. People out there, you know what? I've seen shields out there for a little over $200 actually.
Yeah, that'd be an all right gun. I know it's contrary to popular opinion, but I'm not that big of a fan of the shield.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I find it to be very snappy. It's accurate. Like, I can shoot the crap out of one. I just don't love it. I don't know why.
Yeah. Let's see. Someone here, Big Cliff says Taurus 709.
Yeah, we said good guns.
Yeah. So on the subject of the shield, I don't know. Are you familiar with the shield, Mike?
Yes, I have one.
Oh, you have one? Yeah. I know that Lola likes a shield. I don't like a shield. I prefer the Glock 43 over the shield, but you know.
Now, compared to the shield, you know, Smith and Wesson also makes the compact. You know, the name of it, whereas you can put the full size magazine in it. And I like that one over the shield. You know, compare those two.
That'd be more like a Glock 26 comparison. For whatever reason, a lot of people really struggle with that slight bit of extra width. And that's why you see a lot of people like gravitating towards the single stack 9s. So like, I can't really like lump that into the same group.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, and we're already getting some questions for you here. Treadhead44 wants to know, what do you think about the new Remington 700 chassis pistol?
I don't see a point, like in buying a factory gun like that. Realistically, what's the MSRP on that thing?
Which one are we talking about? Are we talking about the one from Gearhead Works, or are we talking about a different one?
This is a Remington like OEM chassis pistol, and if I had to wager a guess, I'm guessing the MSRP
Let me look it up.
is going to be north of 1,400.
Yeah. Let me see if I can.
The comments can find it quickly.
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up here. Okay, interesting. The 700 CP, I think it's what it's called. Yeah,
that sounds right.
Yeah, 1,020.
So 1,020. Man, like, I've seen such shoddy stuff coming out of Remington as of late, especially with their 700 series stuff, that I just don't know if I could like part with the money.
Yeah, I think you know what I would say too, if this really is a thing, if the Remington pistol, if like bolt pistols catch on, because there's other companies now making bolt guns. You'll probably get some other company making a pistol version a lot cheaper than that. So if you really want one,
yeah, it's not so much that like I'm like, no, it's more like some of the stuff that I've seen on their receivers, because a very close friend of mine owns a precision rifle shop, and they were using to build their guns. The amount of receivers they were discarding was 60% of the ones they were buying. So they would buy a receiver and have to throw it in the trash because it was they couldn't true it.
Okay. You're breaking up.
So like, oh,
yeah, you there? Okay, I don't think. Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. I'll give you a chance to
hold up. So let me.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the chat that's saying the same thing about Remington kind of fell off and they're going downhill with their stuff. So I think they're backing up exactly what he was saying.
Yeah. I know that the first, like, I've shot Remington 700s before, and we recently did a video with the 700 where we changed the trigger, but we borrowed that gun. I never really got deep into them, so I've been thinking that maybe I should get one, go through the whole thing, and do some further testing on that trigger, but also just find out about the 700. But I've got several of the other bolt guns that are out there, and I haven't really seen big problems with them, and they're a lot cheaper.
Right.
So
yeah, well, I mean, realistically, you need, and I'm not trying to sound like a jackass, but like there aren't many people that are going to be able to outshoot a Remington bolt gun. You see claims on the internet all the time of, well, mine is sub-minute angle with federal gold medal match or whatever their wonder ammo of choice is. I mean, and these dudes are like shooting 3-shot groups, and they saw that one time, and that becomes their standard. So realistically, it doesn't matter. Me personally, I know that I'm going to see some issues with accuracy out of the newer Remington stuff. That's why I'm saying I probably wouldn't spend the money on it. For the grand price points, I struggle to really see a point to a pistol bolt gun. I really do. I'm sure there's a use out there, a good use out there that I'm just not seeing. But like personally, I think I'd rather spend $1,000 on our Ruger precision rifle, or putting together a Howa 1500 with a bunch of Barnauls stuff like the Mod Minute that I just did, or one of 4 or 5 other things. Bergara makes a really wonderful rifle in that price bracket.
Or building up. Lots of people are suggesting building up from a clone.
Yeah, but like when you start building it up from a clone, like, if we're talking $1,000, I can spend $400 on a good barrel, plus the smith work to get it headspaced and all of the things that need to happen to install it onto a receiver. And the receiver, for a good clone receiver, you're looking at another $500. So like, I mean, just an action, getting into one cheaply with a decent barrel, you might be able to pull it off for like $1,100. Maybe. That's not including a chassis or stock or whatever you want to put it into.
Right. Also, how awesome do you really, I think people should always evaluate how awesome do they need this thing to be. I think we should always think about that, right? If you have the money and you just want the best that you can get for your money, that's one end of the scale. If you don't have that much money, and how awesome do you need this thing really to be?
Yeah, I mean, is it going to be a range toy? Are you capable of out shooting what is commercially available? All of those things are something that you should take into consideration before you run your card. I have been accused of being an elitist when it comes to stuff, and it's not necessarily
Do you think that's unjust?
Well, no. So that was a hard learned lesson. Like, so whenever I get involved in something, I generally don't half-ass it. I don't take a leisurely approach to things. I almost always involve myself like 100% and learn everything I can about that thing and try to become as good as possible, almost to an autistic level. And like I'll talk more about that in a little bit. Like when it comes to handgun shooting, like I over the last 3 months, I have spent 3-4 days a week on the range shooting at 25 yards at B8 bullseyes with the goal of being able to shoot all 10 shots in that 3.36 inch 10 ring. But that was a lesson that I learned in a hard way. Like I would buy something thinking, man, this is ideal, this looks like it'll work for me, and then I would learn that I would progress beyond the capabilities of that particular part or gun or accessory or whatever relatively quickly because of my focus on whatever I was doing. And it got to the point where I just refuse to spend money on something that might not be the best possible thing in that category because I'm going to regret it eventually and lose money as a result.
Right. Yeah, I think these are all things people have to deal with. It depends on how deep do you get into something, right? What's your budget? How deep do you want to get into it? And ultimately, I think people should always ask themselves, what are you honestly going to realistically use this thing for?
Yes. Yeah.
Realistically, I know like people think that, I'm going to be fighting zombies at 1,000 yards or whatever it is, but you really have to ask yourself, like, realistically, what am I going to be doing with this thing and how much do I need to put into it? I'm not saying don't spend a bunch of money, but I think as Patrick is saying, you can always spend that money somewhere else.
Right.
and get something else that's really going to bring you enjoyment depending on what you want to do. So that's why there's so many options. You know, so many options for people out there. Some people just want to, like, someone might just say, oh, I want to have a good bolt gun in case one day I need a bolt gun for some reason. You know, and I think under those circumstances, you really, if you're getting this thing so that you have it, you don't really need to go all crazy about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, and then you have to qualify what is good in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, I can agree with what he said about Remington 700 having the best bolt. Because back when I was in the Army, when I won the long range competition, I was using a Remington 700.
Okay.
And, like I said, it was on point. It was on point.
So was this a standard? Did you guys didn't change anything on there? You didn't improve the bolt?
Well, I was about to say that it was belonging to the marksmanship unit. So it was a Remington 700 with their scope and everything. So the only thing I had to do was just get it and, you know, shoot it. Zeroed it to me and shoot it.
Yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure that the AMU has.
They modified it. They modified.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a great platform to modify. I'll say that.
Right. Because I don't like. I mean, the normal bolts on there aren't that super fantastic.
I think it's just more reliable. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's more, you know, because I've heard that more than one time. Like, if you're getting into the long range game, start off with a Remington 700. I've heard that on more than one occasion. You know.
Okay. Dan Hates You says, Patrick, whispering gun snobbery into my headphones is soothing.
I can whisper gun snobbery.
Is that your sexy voice that you're putting on?
No.
Yeah, don't lie.
The lower.
Yeah. So I'm waiting. Oh, Lola's wondering why I haven't introduced you to Mike, but I'm waiting for you to actually turn your image on. So both of you guys were actually at SHOT Show. But
actually, I walked past Patrick 2 times.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, each time I was
past everybody like 2 times.
Yeah, but each time he walked past me, it was he was talking to somebody, and it looked like intense business. So I didn't walk over and like shake his hand or anything like that.
Oh, dude, like just interrupt the SHOT Show. Like that's the only way to do it.
Yeah, he always looks intense. Yeah. Yes.
That's not fair at all.
Yeah, but you know what? I agree with what Patrick said, though, Mike. I've been telling people that, like, there's some people that have been saying to me, "Oh, I saw you at SHOT Show. I didn't want to interrupt you." I was like, "Dude, that's the place where you actually have to interrupt people."
Yeah. Now, like I said, if we would have had a conversation previously before, yeah, I would have walked up and shook his hand. But you know what I'm saying? Like when you're talking to people in a suit, you know, I don't really want to mess up anything.
I don't remember talking to anybody in a suit. Shit.
Yeah, it was actually we were over by the Walther booth actually when I saw you, because when we was walking, I pointed you out. And
okay.
The conversation actually went like this: "Hey, that's Patrick Roberts right there." And then it's like, "Oh wow, I thought he was a little bit taller than that." Like,
I am quite happy with being a short dude. Like when I get on a plane, I'm comfortable. All the rest of you guys aren't.
Man,
true.
Yeah, it's right for me to get a decent seat on the plane.
See, now I like all of them are decent for me. All of them.
Yeah, I know. You know, listen, there's pluses and minuses to everything. So, yeah, we're still waiting for you to get set up.
Yeah, I am getting onto the computer now. There we are.
And while we're talking about SHOT Show, I know, Mike, you had a chance to say what you saw out at SHOT Show that was cool. What are some of your cool things you saw out there that you got to have, Patrick?
Man, the new Surefire light, like I need that. The
new Surefire
XR1, that thing is amazing.
Okay.
What else? I got a list. I've got like a shopping list.
Let me pull this up. Surefire XR1.
Yeah. So dual reflector, so dual lens.
Oh, wow.
Compact
Okay.
light, 600 lumen, max vision beam.
Wow, dual lamps.
Yeah, it's pretty legit.
Interesting. I didn't see that, but that's actually cool.
Yeah, rechargeable battery. I don't know what the battery life looks like necessarily, but you know, I'm sure it's more than
Is it
enough.
dual batteries?
Is that the one that
No, it's a single
It is?
internal rechargeable battery.
Oh, okay.
Is that the one where you recharge with the USB cable?
It's got this little like magnetic clippy thing on it, as I understand.
Okay,
Yeah, that is pretty cool from what I'm looking up here.
What email did you send that to?
I don't know. You obviously have it since you.
Yeah, well, they all go into like a communal inbox on my phone. But,
well, your private communal business.
You know, okay. You still are sending it to the wrong email address. Still.
Oh, okay? I gotta update your email, I guess.
Yeah, I know. We've had this conversation like twice.
Oh, okay. I'll ask Lola. Send it if you can hear me. Send the thing to Patrick's other email address, please. Because I don't know.
Firearmrack.com. It ain't hard.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Isn't that? Do I have? Oh, because I've got your Gmail. That's why.
Yes, that's the old one.
Yeah. Oh,
that would help.
It's
you
no
sent
longer
it. Lola says she sent it.
Yeah, I found it.
Okay.
My webcam now to where it's not.
Okay.
Garbage here.
All right. Cool. So while you're doing all of that, I'm gonna show off this suppressor that I have in here from the guys at Liberty Suppressor. Now let me ask you, Patrick, you have suppressors? Yes or no?
Yeah, I do. I've got 4 cans.
Okay, you've got suppressors. What about you, Mike?
I got 1 can, which is a dead air silencer.
Okay, what caliber?
The 5.56, and you can also take the end cap off for the 30 cal, 308.
Okay, very cool, very cool. So this is not like super new. They came out with this, I think, in the middle of last year, but this is the Liberty Vector, and it's a 22. So there we go. And you can actually, I don't know if you guys can see that very thin line there on it. So it's 6 inches. You could chop it down 1 inch to 5 inches. It's modular, I guess, in that respect. Let me see. I'm trying to see if this is rated for 22 or 22 Magnum. I think it's 22 Magnum.
Now, have you went and shot it yet?
Is this working?
Yeah.
There you go.
Am I loud enough?
Yep. That's good. That's good.
That's good.
Yeah. This literally just came in today. So I stayed home long enough to pick it up, and I figured I'd bring it in here and show it off to you guys. It's good looking, light can, according to the Liberty Suppressor guys, very easy to clean. You can take this off and get at the baffles. The baffles are all self-contained, so the tube itself is really just there to be a casing.
Can you hold up the end of the tube and bring it up a little bit?
Oh, hold on, right there. Where, this end?
No, the whole end.
This end right here.
No, the other end. The other end.
Bam, this end.
Yeah, I was trying to look down the barrel of it.
Oh, down. Okay, well, I don't know if you're gonna get a real. Let's see.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you got it. You got it on point right there.
Yeah.
I was just trying to see how much light actually emitted through it.
Yeah.
It wasn't much, but
yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that actually how that works out for you.
Yeah, I'm going to test it out. I'm going to put it on a couple of things. Now, I think everyone should have 22s. Mike, you told me off air you don't have any 22s.
Yeah.
You need to go on the wall of shame, my friend.
Yeah. Well, actually, I can put it like this. My good friends over at CAE Transfers in Columbia, South Carolina, they have a plethora of 22s. So whenever I want to shoot 22s, I normally give them a call, and they give me about 2 or 3, and I can go to the range and have fun with it.
Okay, understood.
You need to get one.
You gotta have your own 22s, man. You should have multiple.
I'm gonna get some because actually, when I start teaching my daughter to physically shoot a handgun, that's what I'm going to teach her.
Yeah.
So now, I shoot it a bunch myself. Like I shoot my 22 a ton.
Yeah. I don't have more like, to me, the most fun is shooting 22s and full auto 22 or bullpup 22. You know, that's full auto probably. And,
Yeah, I mean it's
but,
fun.
yeah.
I get the most enjoyment out of like cheap target practice.
Yeah. 22 to me, just 22s are cheap. They're fun to shoot. A whole bunch of things. They're when you suppress them, they're super quiet. You know, I mean, even when you don't suppress them, they're not incredibly loud or anything like that. Here's a victory that I've had actually for a while, and I had some issues with this and sent it back to Smith and Wesson. But since it came back, I didn't even test it, which I need to do. I don't know what you guys out there think about the Victory pistols. I think they had some problems when they first came out.
Yeah, I've seen some issues with the bolt, the takedown bolt, like seizing and being an issue.
Yeah, there were some serious issues going on with it. I think there was a recall, and I had to. That's what I sent this one off for, because it actually came in for testing, and then I wound up buying it, and then realized like, oh, this thing has problems. But there you go. There's that on the Victory.
It looks sweet, but how soon before you actually put the video out?
You know what? It's tough to say when videos. Yeah, that's a tough question that people always ask about the videos, when the videos are going out.
Yeah, because that looked like it's going to be an interesting shoot right there.
Yeah, I would like to get it up as soon as possible, but I'll be honest with you, like right after SHOT Show, a bunch of things start coming in.
Yes.
To test. So, and I don't, there's the way that I prioritize it. If it's something that's super new that no one else has done videos on, it goes to the top of the list.
Right.
I know that sounds terrible maybe to some people.
But that's respectable. But now, how many people actually did a test on that suppressor right there?
I'm sure there's some videos on it because it's been out for at least, I don't know, 6 months or something.
No, okay. So that's 7 months at the top of your list then.
No, actually, look, I love 22, so I'm gonna test the crap out of it, man. I'm gonna, I'm gonna try to see if I can get a full auto to put this on. I gotta think about that.
So we're showing off 22 pistols, huh?
Yeah. What do you have? Mike doesn't have anything, so we're gonna have to come up with extra stuff.
So I've had my 22 can for a long while.
Which one? Let's see. What do you got?
All I've got is a
Silencer Co.
Sparrow stainless steel, super good can.
Yeah, those are cool. I've got one.
Like I really enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, I think that was my first. The Silencer Co. actually was my first suppressor.
Yeah, that needs to be cleaned like bad. Holy shit. Let's just close that back up. Wow. Like I don't know if it's gonna show, but like you see all the crap on here. I just unscrewed it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, now 22s are dirty. So that is a thing.
Like if I had taken it apart to show how easy it is to clean, which I obviously don't do, it would have been everywhere. Oh my god, yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah, 22s are dirty. How are the baffles in there? Well, you probably don't want to open up that whole thing. Right,
yeah, I can open it up. Let me grab one of these targets and flip it over, so I've got something to like throw in the trash. So like takedown's really cool. You take the end cap off, and then oh wow, yeah.
Is it a little seized up?
No, it's not seized up. It's just super dirty. Whew.
When's the last time you shot that thing?
I shot it recently.
Okay.
Now, on the 22 suppressors, how often should you clean them?
Yeah.
I clean mine like every other range trip generally. So 500,000 rounds, something like that. Yeah, I don't know if you can see all that. That's all the stuff that just was falling out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not too bad.
No, but when my desk is clean,
you don't want it
more
to get
than
dirty.
I would care.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, in the line of cleaning, someone's asking, should we use a sonic cleaner? I think from my point of view, it depends on what you have, like what materials.
Yes. Yeah. So if it's an aluminum can, titanium, anything like that, any of the really lightweight ones, sonic cleaner or traditional cleaning is fine. While not recommended on my Sparrow, I use the dip, which is 50% hydrogen peroxide, 50% white vinegar, and I just drop all the parts in and let it sit for a day, and then come back and rinse it off.
Okay. I've never used the dip. I've always wondered what the hell is this dip thing people talk about.
Yeah.
I've heard of it. I'm like, what? Okay.
But yeah, it like, so it ends up creating a hazardous material. So whenever you get that hydrogen peroxide vinegar mix, and the lead dissolves in it, it becomes toxic, and you have to dispose of it properly. So like, it's not something that everyone should do if you don't know how to dispose of that stuff properly. You should never, ever just throw it in the trash or pour it down the drain or drink it or anything like that, because it is super, super toxic.
What's that solution again? You said vinegar and what?
Vinegar. It's 50% white vinegar, 50% hydrogen peroxide.
Oh,
And you just drop all the parts in it. Now, if you have titanium, stainless steel, or any other material that is not stainless steel, like, you can eat your parts. Like, it'll eat them alive, and start eroding the baffles and ruin your can. So don't do it if you don't know whether or not your can can handle it.
Yeah.
So
read instructions from your can if you still have them, or go to the websites, or even you can get in touch with the company. Some companies will clean stuff for you.
So you asked about the baffles. I'm going to have to put something behind it so you can see them. But it's monocore, which has the threaded portion here so you've got the threads for the muzzle, and then the threads for the end cap, a couple of O-rings, and then you have two clamshells that go around that core, and that all slips into the tube. And the tube's the registered part, which is super nice. So if you get a baffle strike, it's just a matter of sending it back to Silence Co. saying, "Hey, I broke my shit. Can you fix it?" And they'll put a new part on there, and you're good to go.
Yeah. Some people. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it sounds like the sonic cleaner is the best way to go.
Yeah, I mean,
depending on what your thing's made of, on what your thing's made of, and if you can get it in the sonic cleaner.
Yeah. So sonic cleaner, I mean, you can use water. Like, that's generally safe for everything. Generally.
Yeah. And then I know there's a bunch of people asking, how do you get rid of the dip properly? What's the proper way to get rid of it?
I've got a guy that I call that disposes of hazmat stuff. So you'd have to find out if there's somewhere locally that you can take hazardous materials to.
So disposal. Not that you can't flush it?
No, absolutely not. There's like that lead is not soluble. Like, you can't get it back out of that material. So if you flush your dip, like, you're now putting lead into the water supply, which is always going to be there.
Yeah. So, look into these things, people. And like I said before, there are companies that will actually help you clean your suppressors and stuff like that. So especially if you didn't do anything with the suppressor, if you just shot it and it gets real seized up or something and you have issues, if the company is still in existence, you can always try sending it back to them.
Yes. Yeah. And that's something I've had, issues with on my Sparrows. I'll go 1,500 or 2,000 rounds between cleanings, and I've got to break out some tools and like beat the crap out of the can. Like, I found that a socket and a hammer. I found a socket that's just the right diameter that I can slip in there and beat the core out.
Yeah. And then Vanessa Kitty says, for your info, a threaded barrel on a semi-auto pistol makes an assault weapon here in Connecticut.
That's true. It's true. It's because it's a terrible,
damn you, Connecticut. Yeah.
Stupid laws.
Yeah. Damn Connecticut, you bastards. Okay, so I'm gonna keep taking out 22s.
So I've got. Oh,
here's one of my favorite ones. Recognize this? What? It's a Kel-Tec PMR. 22 Magnum. I'm a fan. Listen. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. It just removes a lot of the benefit of 22 for me personally.
Really? Why you say that? Well, this is 22 Magnum, but what
Right,
you say?
yeah, the ammo cost. Like
Oh, okay.
that's a big benefit to a 22, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like 22 Magnum though, man. I'm a real fan of 22 Magnum. It's like laser beams.
Man,
Yes.
I'm gonna go out and get me a 22 now, just because
Yeah.
we are talking
Well,
about it.
here's the one that I cut my teeth on. Well, I take that
yeah,
back.
cool.
I cut my teeth on the M&P 22,
Oh, very
the
nice.
Boomerex gun, and I probably put I don't know 8,000-9,000 rounds to this thing, and then it started to have issues, and instead of sending it in for repair, I just replaced it with a 2245 lights. Mark III, which I think is north of 25,000 rounds to this thing at this point.
Is that your first 2245?
Yeah, this is the first one that I bought.
Oh, okay.
And
how does that shoot?
it shoots pretty well. Like it's not half bad. At 25, 30 yards, a 4-inch steel target isn't, like undoable. Pretty with pretty good consistency. I took the magazine disconnect out on this thing, put a match sear in it, and did some trigger work on it to get it down to like the 3.5 pound range on the single action, and that was about all I did to this gun.
Okay.
It used to have a red
looks...
dot on it.
Oh, okay, that's what I was gonna say. Standard
but
sights.
Yeah, it's just got the standard ones on it now, because I swapped my Vortex, what is it, the Venom 3 MOA, over to my Mark IV, and that's got
I like that barrel.
Volkartsen trigger in it, and then the burst fast fire mount with a Vortex Mark III on here, and this thing is a hell of a good shooter.
Yeah,
like this thing.
That's the standard barrel that came on that one, right?
Yes, yeah. This is as it comes. It's got the nice easy takedown.
Sweet.
Of the Mark IV, which makes
Yeah, you know what?
happy.
I think those beat out the Victory pistols. To be honest with you, I know the Victory was supposed to compete with like the Mark IIIs and stuff.
Yeah, it's even the Mark
the Victory, the one that I have.
I think the Mark III is still a better gun.
Yeah,
personally.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, that's just my preference.
You know what? When I first started, I had one of those, and I liked it. It was like a little bit heavy and all that kind of stuff, but it was pretty cool. I think I wound up selling it. I did have the Smith & Wesson M&P 22 pistol as well as the rifle. And I still have those, and those were great for like getting my boys into shooting handguns and rifles and stuff like that.
Yeah. So the 2245 light comes in at a whopping 25 ounces from the factory, whereas let me see if I can find the the standard ones.
Yeah.
That's something I don't have a complaint about. Like my Mark III, Mark IV lights are both super lightweight.
Yeah.
Hey Hank,
what's Mike? What's up?
Somebody just put it out there. Check out the Rock Island 22 TCAM 9mm combo. Ask Hank and Patrick for options or opinions.
TCM.
TCM, yeah. So that's kind of a goofy round. I'm gonna finish getting this weight. So the standard tactical, which is what I think you probably had, Hank, is like 10 ounces heavier.
Mm-hmm.
The 22 TCM. So you've got 22 TCM and 22 TCM-R. They are not interchangeable. One won't go into the other, but the other can shoot both. And I don't know which one's which.
Yeah. And one of them works in Glock. Is it one of them works in Glock?
Yeah, that's the 22 TCM-R.
The R, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be more likely to do something. I haven't done anything with it. I'd be more likely to do something with that. I think there are a couple of barrels out there, but they're not common. Right?
No, but Rock Island does make guns in them, and there are a couple of conversion kits out there. It's an interesting round. It's fast moving. I struggle to really see a point, unless you're really shooting a distance. like the ballistics aren't better than much of anything else. They don't beat out a good 9 mil defensive load, so it's not really ideal for defense for me. Target shooting, like the quality of the ammo and all of the other associated stuffs, not really much of an improvement over anything. It's about in line with everything else, because it is what it is. It's just a Rock Island barrel at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think folks are always looking for like a 5.7 competitor, right?
Yeah, I don't know why. Like I mean, like the 5.7 just it ballistically it didn't really wow. It really didn't fit a role other than like lots of bullets in a pistol, and it wasn't executed really well. Like it's not a bad gun. It just doesn't fit into any of the roles that I have a need for. So I mean, just not really my thing.
I think there's people looking at it like there's a question there about 22 Magnum versus 5.7. People are looking for stuff that could punch through armor and all that kind of thing, and then something that's cheaper. The 5.7 was not so available before. It's a lot more available now.
Yes, it's much more available nowadays. I think the patent ran out or something, and now Fiocchi is producing it, maybe.
Yeah, there's a couple of places that I've seen doing it. Here's what I think. So with the 22 Magnum, when you get into things and like, what's better than 1 PMR? 2 PMRs, actually. I'm just saying. But when you get into the 22 Magnum, like in something like this, 22 Magnum is really good in revolver, Derringer type things, or rifles and all that. But when you get into this situation, especially like where these take 33 rounds, I don't even load these up all the way because you can get rem lock, all kinds of crazy things happen. And so you can have feed problems with it. 5.7 doesn't necessarily have that problem. If you really need to have something that's going to punch through armor, I think I've seen like Mac doing videos about this. They're kind of close, right?
So the question I would pose for those looking for something that's going to punch through armor, why not just use a rifle?
Yeah.
Like the idea of an armor-piercing handgun, like it's I don't really see the point, man. Like I wish I could, because like
people listen. I think there's people that do these thought exercises. There's probably people out there that have legitimate purposes for it, right? I think I've heard that Secret Service uses 5.7 pistols. I don't know whether that's true or not.
No. The Secret Service is using the MP7 now, I think.
Okay. Okay.
It's like a 4.6 mil cartridge, which will absolutely penetrate some armor. Which, yes, absolutely see it. The average dude sitting there thinking about stuff in their living room, saying, you know what, man, like if somebody comes into this, Denny's and starts shooting and he's wearing armor, I want to make sure that I can, take him out and protect my life or whatever. I don't know why people need to look for hardware solutions to learning how to shoot better. Because I mean, if some dude's wearing armor, you've got this whole basketball on top of somebody's shoulders and the pelvic region that you can take a shot at, or don't try to be the good guy like necessarily. That's poorly worded, but instead of trying to be the hero,
right?
Put yourself in a situation where you can get the hell away from the danger. Like you don't have necessarily, and I don't believe that I do. I don't believe that I have a duty to necessarily stop the threat. I've got a duty to ensure that my life continues on and my loved ones' lives continue on. That's my focus personally. But the whole issue I see with the armor piercing handgunny thing is almost always you are sacrificing terminal performance on unarmored targets, which is going to make up like 95%. Well, shit, I would even say 99.9% of armed encounters.
Yeah. By the way, someone is sending me pictures of their. I don't even know if you guys could see that, but of their. I
Yeah.
think that's a Victory and another pistol that they have there. You know what the thing is? A couple of things to unpack there. One, Victor V says the thought exercise is part of the fun. I do agree with that. You know, people need things for their mind to do, and I'm not trying to knock that at all. I think also the other thing is, look, whatever you have, if you hit that person and it sets them back, then if you have to get into that fight and you hit the person and it either knocks them over or whatever.
Oh, that's not how things work, dude.
But you understand what I'm trying to say, right? If you think that 9mm is not going to be enough if you hit someone with it.
Right. So if you are in a, this is just my thought process personally. Mm-hmm. This is what I've come to terms with. Like if I'm in a situation where I feel the need to defend myself against an armored target, like I'm going to do everything that I can to remove myself and my loved ones from that situation and let the police, who are much better equipped to handle that than I am, with ARs and body armor and all that stuff, because I'm just some dude in a fucking flannel shirt with a carry gun on me.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I'm not wearing a Magpul shirt. This is some shit that was on clearance.
I just read that myself, man. I was about to say,
redhead. I think.
I know you're not rocking Magpul. Please tell me.
No, dude, I love their flannels. They're phenomenal. Like I've got one of their old Brody flannels that is just amazing, and I just called Magpul's customer service today to get the sizing on the logger flannel because I found it on clearance. And find out how it correlates to the old Brody, and I'm gonna order like one in all of the colors because they really are great clothes.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, yeah. Like if I'm confronted by an armed,
armored
attacker, right? Mm-hmm. An armored attacker, rather. And I absolutely have to take a shot at that person. My play is probably going to be to shoot them in the face. Or the pelvic region, with the hopes that I can stop that, and most likely the face. And like my buddy Chuck and I were talking about this about the importance of marksmanship in self-defense, and like the idea of the A zone on an IPSC being a stupid arbitrary target, and realistically it needs to be heart, CNS and all that kind of stuff, because those are actual fight stoppers. How often have you like watched some video of a police shooting where some dude gets shot 4 or 5 times and is still returning fire?
True. Yeah, I think there's a whole bunch of things that go into that. Probably I'm going to agree with what you're saying. The first thing you need to do is get out of there. Make sure if you've got people you love there, get them out of there, get yourself out of there, and then it's all just going to come down to what kind of training instincts, that you have. And it's better to fight than to not fight if you're backed into that corner.
Yeah, if
having to do it.
Absolutely have to. And that's my thing. Like I got into a conversation with somebody yesterday about, shoot first, ask questions later, and that's just like the thought process behind that is stupid. Like I don't want to take a life. I've got no desire to. But if I need to defend myself, then so be it.
Yeah, and we've got to think about it. I don't know what happened in that. I've got to read up on what happened in that mall case where there was this guy that got shot basically by the police when they showed up. I'm not sure if he was a good guy, bad guy. A lot of people are saying that he was a good guy, but the police officer got cleared on that because that guy had his gun out. Right? I'm guessing.
I never did follow up on that either.
You know what? Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up and see. I saw something about it here.
While he's pulling that up, Mike, you were asking earlier about how well the 22 shoots, and this is why I think everybody should have a 22 pistol. So that right there is 10 rounds. That is awful with a dark back. There we go. Maybe.
No, you could see it before you did that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's 10 rounds at 10 yards with the Mark IV, and then that right there is 10 rounds at 25 yards. So like you can get some really good fundamentals practice in with a 22 for, you know, pennies versus, you know, whatever 45 super fucking like Superman, you know, Jack Bauer carry gun you've got that's going to cost you $1 a trigger pull.
Yeah. So by the way, there's someone else sending me their gun. So here we go. I'm going to read this really quick here. I know some people are going to have some opinions about this. This is from the Washington Post, just the first one I pulled up. No charges against officer who killed black man he mistook for a mall shooter. A police officer who shot and killed a black man during a shooting inside an Alabama mall will not face criminal charges. A report released by the state's attorney general's office says that the officer reasonably exercised his power when he shot Emantic E.J. Fitzgerald Bradford Jr. 3 times in the seconds-long chaos of that Thanksgiving night. The officer saw Bradford holding a gun just a few feet away from a man who had just been shot. He saw the 21-year-old as an immediate deadly threat to innocent civilians. The report says, even though Bradford never fired his gun. So, I mean, that's a lot of unfortunate stuff that went down there. But,
why was he standing over a dude that had been shot? I'm trying to find that.
So my recollection of that whole story is that there was this mall shooting. This guy got shot. He, I think, had a CCW, took out his gun. You know, maybe he was going to do something about it. But when the cop got there, he just saw a guy with a gun. And even though he didn't shoot at the cop, or I don't know if he even pointed at him, he wound up getting, he wound up getting shot. So, you know, you want to not be in that situation.
All right, so here I found it. So a guy named Aaron Brown is who police are saying was the actual shooter. Shot an 18-year-old named Brian Wilson on the mall's second floor walkway and left him lying outside a JCPenney store. Brown ran towards the store as mall shoppers scurried away. Wait, who's the guy? Okay, Bradford. Bradford, who was nearby, ran in the opposite direction, but he then turned around and headed towards the JCPenney and Wilson with his gun drawn. This is what I'm talking about. Like, you aren't the hero as a concealed carrier. Like, if you are not in immediate danger, do not head towards the danger. Like, go away. Let the police do their shit.
Yeah. Were you going to say something about that, Mike?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. In that situation, your CCW is to protect you. And in that instance, like I said, I would have went the other direction. And then, of course, when cops come in, you can give a visual of what you saw so they can be better prepared.
The CCW doesn't make you a police officer. And depending where you get your CCC things from, Patrick's pointing at me.
Exactly. Thank you.
If you get your training and stuff like that from police officers, especially, they'll tell you that thing does not make you a police officer and stay out of their business. Police officers get shot, undercover guys or plainclothes guys. They get shot when other guys show up. Yeah, you know, I mean, this is like a horrible, unfortunate thing. I think your first responsibility is always to return home safely to your family.
Yes.
Yeah. And, a lot of times you always hear people saying that about the CCW as well, whereas protecting other people. But I keep saying, worry about yourself before you try to tread.
If you're backed into a corner, backed into a corner with something, yes. Mm-hmm. If you understand, but you have to be able to understand it. Like if you're not paying attention to a situation that's going down, if you're not paying attention to that, but you pay attention when you hear gunshots, what do you understand about that situation? Chaos. Just danger. Something happened here. Gunshots went off. You don't know anything else. Who's good guy, bad guy, or whatever. And the first thing you should be thinking about yourself, maybe your family members. Let's get the hell out of here. But you've got to really think about what you're doing. You should really, really think about it. Get training. Spend some time looking into this and try to avoid being that person who takes out the gun and you're just hanging out with a gun when other people show up. Because even 2 CCW people can get into, because like you got a gun out, another guy might come and think, oh my God, this guy. And so people are just going to, you have to think about what's going on here.
No, I
So
mean, and if you know, like if you are the type of person that feels as though that Bradford did the right thing by going towards the danger with his gun drawn, like you probably should not be carrying a gun because you don't have your head in the right spot. Personally, that's my opinion.
yeah,
Um, like not that you don't have the right to carry a gun, but you just probably shouldn't. Um, like I'm also seeing some stuff in the chat where they're talking about a civil case and you know somebody else said something to the effect of his family thinks that Bradford is reacting in the military mindset. Like when you are not on duty in the military, you need to go ahead and act like you're a civilian, regardless of whether or not you think you're a sheepdog or not. Um, like it's the wrong call. Like it's not your job, it's not your duty at that point to go ahead and secure the scene or make sure that there's no other shooters or have some sort of shitty morbid curiosity. This is a really good lesson for all of us to realize that, like, if you are concealed carrying a firearm and you feel the need to pull that gun out of the holster, um, it needs to be to stop a threat to your life or somebody that you care about deeply, not to be the next jackass talking on the evening news about how I just did what everybody should do,
yeah.
and,
It's
and
what
looking for that hero label.
yeah, it's a terrible thing for his family, and of course, there's lawsuits and all kinds of things. That is not bringing you back. There's no amount. I'm going to tell you something. I'm a father. You can't put a price on my children's life. You can't put a price on my wife's life. I'm sure that she feels the same way. I hope. I don't know. But I think that that's not going to really help the situation. It's just going to be lawsuits and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes things go worse, like or go bad. And no matter what you do, I think there was a case of there was another shooting where there was a guy in a security uniform. It had security on it and all that kind of stuff. And he was trying to help someone that got shot. And when the cops showed up, they shot him. Different story, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a little bit different.
yeah, that's a different story there of what went down. But this one is just one of these unfortunate things of us we're not talking about these kinds of things enough. We're not dealing with it enough, and people just aren't thinking about this, like the realistic scenarios that could happen.
So Brian Quick said there are cases where civilians have intervened in stopping further carnage and mass murders. Am I suggesting that these people are wrong and shouldn't carry weapons? I'm not suggesting that they're wrong. I'm suggesting that if you have the mindset that that is your duty to society when you put a gun on in the morning, if you have the mindset that you're going to save the day and be, super threeper, like you probably shouldn't be carrying a gun because you don't have your head in the right spot. Now, if you are in a situation where you have to stop somebody committing mass murder and you do so, like, good on you, probably the right call. But
Mhm.
if you are actively putting yourself into a situation that you don't need to be putting yourself into, like, you don't have a duty to protect others. You've got a duty to protect you and yours. Like, and this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
um
But you know what?
Probably wrong.
Mindset is really important here. Mindset is really important. I'm just going to say this. Like, for example, okay, we had Tegan on yesterday, right? And there's
Tig.
the move, huh?
Tiggy.
Yeah. So, the movie 13 Hours and lots of movies like that are not the kinds of movies that I love to watch. I do watch them, but they're not the kind of things that I like to watch. And people always say, well, how come you don't like watching those things? The mindset is one of the reasons why I don't like watching those things. I think there's things that people watch and somehow they get it in their head that they're that person and they're, walking around in the same circumstances as those people. And I try to like avoid that in my headspace. You know, I'm not doing this thing to be like a big badass or anything like that. I'm doing it so that if I'm backed into a corner, I have options. Some people are doing things deliberately to be badasses, and then some people just find themselves in that situation. And some people, it's their job. Like with Tig, that was his job, right?
Yeah, I mean, and like, I totally agree. I 100% agree with Tig's actions. You know, whenever the Benghazi incident
Mm-hmm.
happened, uh, like, where I don't necessarily agree is, like, rando dude waking up in the morning and think, well, I gotta protect the world today, sheepdog threeper. or whatever the hell he's thinking.
Yes, L228 says, "Am I blaming the movie?" No, I'm not blaming the movie. I'm just trying to say to you that I don't look. When I look at movies like that, I take it very seriously. Looking at a movie like that, I don't look at those kinds of things often and get my brain into a mindset that I'm that person. But I think that there are people walking around that have that mindset that they're some kind of like badass or something. And we have to get out of that. We have to get out of that. If you are that person, if you're someone like Tig or those guys that are out there, if you're soldiers that are out there doing those things, if you're police officers doing those particular things, yeah, you've got to have that mindset. But then there's people that don't need to have that mindset, and they're walking around. There's a complete difference between what's going on between their ears and what's happening in the real world. And that's the reason why I take those kinds of things seriously. I'm not blaming the movie or anything like that. What I'm saying to you is people look at all these things and get caught up in it, and they think that's them.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's a good way of looking at it. Like, now, if you're able to go ahead and separate between fiction and reality and just enjoy the story for what it is, by all means, whatever. But if you're one of those dudes that falls asleep to, whatever, the 24.
And I'm not saying everyone out there is doing that, but we know. I guarantee you, everyone here on this panel, everyone that's out there in the chat, there's probably someone out there in the chat that is that dude. But we all know someone who's out there like that, going around like that, like praying, waiting for that thing. It's like, okay.
Yep.
Be very careful with those kinds of thoughts in your head.
It took me about a week and a half to watch that movie, the Benghazi movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because past experience in the military, being deployed, and the situations that I was put in, it's hard for me to watch a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when it does, like I said, it just takes a long time for me. Like,
yeah,
you'll sit there and watch a movie for an hour and a half, 2 hours. It will literally take me about 2 weeks to watch that.
Yeah. Listen, this is like, I was never in the military. Like, I think both of you guys were in the military. I was never in the military, but I've been in the middle of shootouts.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the experience, man. It's like who you share that experience with.
Exactly.
Like, me personally, I never saw combat, but my youngest brother was killed overseas, and like, watching military movies or stuff like that, I just have a really difficult time as well. Like, just prior to my youngest brother being killed in action, Restrepo came out, and I watched that a couple times because, like, I really missed the camaraderie of the military. I didn't necessarily enjoy, like, seeing guys get shot or shot at. I didn't enjoy the combat scenes, but, like, watching them interact on the fob and stuff like that brought back a lot of really fond memories. And, like, post my brother being killed overseas, I just couldn't anymore. And I really have a difficult time. I'm finally getting to the point now where I can watch some of that stuff, but, like, if you ask me to sit down and watch Taking Chance, well, you can just go fuck yourself. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Brian Quick says he's a veteran. He doesn't like to watch military movies. I do watch those things, but whenever I do it, it's a very serious thing for me. It always puts me, like, in a particular mind space, and everyone reacts to everything differently. Look, I remember, like, movies and all the things that we see out there, even looking at YouTube videos and things like that, it affects people. I remember Eddie Murphy talking about this, like, Eddie Murphy's, like, his whole family, they were boxers, right? And they grew up boxing. And he has this joke where he says that lots of people go to like, you go to Rambo, like he said, there'll be some Italian guys who go to Rambo, and they'll go, or not Rambo, Rocky, right? And they'll see a Rocky movie, and then you come out of that movie and you're like, oh, I'm gonna kick this guy's ass. And then you come across someone who actually knows how to fight. Maybe you think it's a little guy and he doesn't know what he's doing. He knocks you out or whatever it is. That thing got you messed up in the head.
Yes. Dude, I think probably the most prevalent example I can think of was when Fast and the Furious 1 and 2 came
man,
out.
yes. Yeah.
The parking lots were, like, just insanely dangerous right after every one of those movies got let out. You know, and people see it and they're like, oh yeah, you know, they feel like, you know, they identify with whatever character was in the movie, and I agree. You know,
Yeah, I could
try to
drive.
keep
I
that
could
stuff out of
drive
my
my
head.
little Toyota to sell. Like,
Oh, dude, and they were trying, man. Like
yeah,
that
and
was
people
no
died.
joke.
People died behind that, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh
because
yeah.
you come out of things like that, there's some kind of like high or euphoria or something like that. That
I don't know necessarily about that, but like I feel like they identify with the characters in the movie and decide that they are in that fictional world that was just presented to them or whatever.
Yeah, Victor V, I think said guilty.
Mm.
Yeah, you got to remind yourself. You got to remind yourself. You know. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. How do we go down that rabbit hole?
I don't know.
I don't even know.
I don't
Okay,
know.
listen,
Let's
I've
get
got
back to
one.
gun
I've got
stuff.
one more gun I want to show right here. Bam.
Oh, I'm gonna beat you up on that one right here. Like I'm gonna.
Well,
didn't
listen,
even
we're
show
showing
mine.
22s. We're showing 22s, man. So this
Yeah,
is a
no,
22
22
Magnum.
right here. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, this is a really cool one right here.
Yeah.
There we go. The takedown. Did you see that our friends at Brownells are now making, like, they have the
They're making a
1022?
takedown receiver. Yeah.
Yes,
I've
I've got to build one. I've got to build one.
Yeah, I've got one on order. I'm gonna swap the receiver out on this guy, but
So okay, so did you buy this like this, or you put
oh hell no.
the Magpul kit on here?
No, yeah, no. This is a Magpul Backpacker X22 stock. It started out as a standard takedown Ruger 1022. Put a new charging handle on this thing here. There you go. Big old, a knobbier one. I dropped a pick rail on top with an RMR, Type 1 RMR 01. Yes. And a Tactical Solutions barrel on here. So,
right.
like
is that threaded? Yeah, is that threaded?
Yes, it is threaded.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And then I think it's got the Ruger BX trigger in it, and I've got a Volkertsen buffer to keep the bolt noise down when shooting it suppressed. The Volkertsen like auto bolt release, and there was another part in here somewhere that I can't recall what the hell it was.
Yeah. Do you prefer buying like a Ruger 1022 or building one up?
It depends. Like Ruger just had like they produced a 1022 Lite that was pretty close to what I would want out of my ideal 1022, but it just wasn't quite there. So generally I end up building them, and I honestly have no idea how much I've got tied up in this thing, Richard, but it's awesome and it's a ton of fun to shoot. And I take it with me when I go out to the in-laws and go shoot squirrels and snakes and all.
How much did you say you have in that?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
So because Richard is saying $1,500 22.
Let me math real quick, and I can kind of tell you.
Yeah, let me see.
While he's doing the math, I can show you the last handgun that I got.
Okay, cool. Yeah, man, let's see it.
So I need to show my 509.
Walther.
If that is a Q5 steel frame, I'm gonna be pissed.
Oh,
what is it?
No, it's just regular PPQ.
Okay,
all right, fair. Yeah, that's no, that Q5 is.
Yeah, no, I got the Q5 polymer one, but I don't have the steel frame.
Oh man, dude! I shot the poly frame next to the steel frame at range day, and I am in love. Oh god,
you saw the big difference in that too, didn't you?
Yeah, for whatever reason, the poly frame's got a lot of snap to it, like a strange amount of snap. Like it's a really violent recoil impulse, even as like heavy as the slide is. It was weird, but like when you move to the steel frame, it was just a soft shooter.
Okay, you guys really like those Walthers, huh?
Dude, so if I don't know if it's on his business page. Let me double check before I say something.
Yeah. By the way, Rob sent me this picture of his Ruger 1022 Charger pistol. Let's just see if we can get it on there. Boom. There you go. So those are cool. I like the Charger pistols. And by the way, you can get integrally suppressed barrels for Ruger 1022s, rifle and pistol length. I'm just saying.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't do that on mine is I wanted to be able to travel, you know, like wherever the hell I wanted to without having to worry about it. There we are. Is it on his?
Yeah, Alex Capiza says it's not even the integrally suppressed one. I know, you know.
No, yeah, it's not.
Everyone can't rock the integrally suppressed ones, but they are cool, man.
Yeah, they are.
They're
I
cool.
like the ability to swap one can within several different
Yeah.
whatevers.
Armament and Axis wants to know your opinion on the new Mossberg pistol. I shot it, but you shot. I don't know if Mike, did you get to shoot that?
No, I didn't get to shoot the new Mossberg pistol.
Okay.
A lot of people who shot it, they was telling me like they liked it, but I wasn't impressed to go on.
When I shot it, here's my opinion of it. There isn't much notable difference to me between shooting that and a Glock. And that might sound like that's a bad thing, but I don't think it's a bad thing because you're talking about, a completely different price category. So if it actually like winds up being, something that's durable and all that kind of stuff, then it's, it's a good thing, right? So that's my opinion.
Yeah, so I took it apart while I was at range day. I asked him if it was okay, and I started taking it apart and really looking at it. And,
it's easy to take apart, right?
Well, I mean, like, more so than other people were doing. Like, I walked around the show floor with tools in my bag this year.
Oh, you took it. You took it past the normal takedown.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm that dude.
Okay.
So, all right, cool. Yeah. It is on his which color?
And that's in your video. Oh, you didn't do a video.
No, I didn't do a video.
Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. That would have been cool, man. I would have wanted to see you taking that thing all the way down.
I'm gonna end up buying one. I think it's neat. I think that the quality of some of the components inside there aren't quite where like I would prefer them to be. The springs looked a little bit cheesy, like they were sourced from a lower quality source. But right about $200, 225 is where I think the thing's gonna live. Maybe 250. I think it's a really cool option, and I think that with like using some Wolf springs to replace some of the parts, should they present to be a problem later on down the road, like I think it's a really cool option.
Yeah.
Alexis asked, nope, you shut up. They asked, they let you do that. Let is a that's a loose term. I just kind of do.
Yeah, you got to spring stuff on people. Like I found, like I was asking the question, where are people on the Second Amendment? And by the way, Mossberg had a good answer to that. But if you let them know, you got to go do the thing and then ask. I'm not saying just take it apart. I don't think that's right. But if you ask and they go, hey, okay, then you're there, right?
Where can I? Okay, here we go. Let me try. Yeah.
Also, the other thing I noticed, like when I was talking to them and stuff like that, they didn't seem super happy about the fact that you can use Glock magazines in there, like from the Glock 43. And I think it's because Glock went and switched up and went over to the 43X and the 48 and kind of surprised everyone. And now it's like, because Glock doesn't care about the 43 anymore.
I don't know if I get that impression. I think they still care about the 43. I think that they're just offering another model. If they discontinue the 43, I'll be really surprised.
I know. I don't think they're going to discontinue it, but I know when I was talking to them, I was like, so what about the 43? Do I just get rid of that? And the guy was like, yeah, basically.
Well, yeah, they want to sell more guns. Why the hell wouldn't they say that? Answer your question about the Q5. So I just pulled up a picture of a target. That is a B8 bullseye that was shot at 25 yards, slow fire. That means standing with two hands, with the Walther Q5 match steel frame by my friend Bill Blowers over at Taprac Tactical. That is 10 shots, man. Like to give you an idea, that is
what caliber
really
is that?
Not easy to do. That is 9mm.
Yeah.
So 9mm, and he's got Let's see, it's a 100 score, which is phenomenal. Like shooting 100 at 25 yards is not easy to begin with, much less putting, it looks like 7 rounds in the same freaking hole in like a inch and a quarter size group, something like that. That's freaking really cool.
Yeah. Treadhead44 says, I took a Diamondback AR part at a booth one year and they got pissed.
Oh, people get mad at me all the time, but I just put it back together and go on my way.
Yeah. It's one of those things, right? Depends on who you are, I think. Archangel wants to know, what's your opinion of the Truth pistols and will you be getting one? Do you know the Truth pistol?
What the hell is that?
That's from
Kevin Dixie.
Yeah. So Kevin Dixie came out with his own pistols. They're called the Truth. I think they're built off an HK VP9 and VP9C.
I'm not touching that.
You probably didn't come across that. So there you go. That's your answer.
Yeah, no, I do not love the VP9. I think it feels really great in the hand on the when you're standing at the gun counter, but once you get it out on the range and like actually start shooting it, I find a lot of things about it that I really don't love. See,
Yeah,
what's he asking for this Truth pistol?
I don't know. I
I
can't
think
remember
he's
what
setting the price right now, but it's going to be around 1,900 or something like that.
Yeah. So the one thing about the Truth is, it's just like anything else. When they redo a handgun, they revamp everything on the inside, so it should shoot better than the original VP9.
Yeah, so my thing with the VP9 specifically is like, while the European style mag release really can kind of be optimal for some guns, on a full size gun, I just don't dig it. Like looking at his builds specifically, I'll touch on that in a second. Like now that I'm seeing him, like I saw something on him, but I just didn't make the connection. But the VP9 has a heavy slide, and where on a gun where this particular part, whatever you want to call that piece, sits on the gun vertically, has a lot to do with it. Like it's not necessarily bore axis, because I really hate that term and the misunderstanding of, but like the slide weight plus where that's placed on the grip of the gun doesn't allow me to get high enough on the gun to get it to shoot as flat as I would prefer. Now, admittedly, I don't have a huge amount of experience with the VP9, and I should be getting my hands on one of the newer ones here pretty soon to go ahead and kind of put some time in on the range and reevaluate my opinion. But like, something about them just never struck me as, good.
I know, like the VP9s for me, I never got lockback, but that's probably something to do with my hands or whatever.
Yeah, so they've got kind of a goofy like slide stop on it. It's really, really long. It's like this long, right? And like the actual part that you can depress to release a slide is like, over an inch long. And it's in a spot where, like, if you put your hand or your thumb anywhere near it, it's just not going to lock the gun back.
Yeah. And then other than that, there's some HK guns, obviously, that I like anyone else, but I would probably buy the clones just because I don't like HK. Now, Kevin Dixie, I like him. He's cool, but HK themselves, I'm not a huge fan. It'd be a long time before I actually put some money in their pocket. Just because when I started doing this, they would tell me all the time, we give two shits about the civilian market. So whatever.
Well,
if you
there's
don't
a lot
care
of
about me,
companies
I
that are
don't
like
care
that,
about you.
man. Like, I mean, I can't hold that against the company for wanting to make money.
No, I don't. But if you tell me you don't care about me as a civilian or whatever, then I'm going to take that to heart a little bit. It'll take some time to work that out of my system.
So I mean, I've had a bunch of like there are several companies that I'm pretty close with that like have told me that their focus is not the civilian market, and like when it's explained to me, then I'm like, oh, I get it. It's a business decision. It's not because you don't care about the civilian market. It's that we are cheap fucks, and the not civilian market has money and places giant orders. All right, so I wanted to loop back to the truth gun. Like I'm gonna have to reach out to Kevin and see what the hell he was thinking. It looks like he put a vortex venom on there. Like he's had the slide milled for vortex venom, which is like not a red dot that I would ever.
Well, I think
rely on.
so he came on with us for about 2 hours, and there's a podcast on that whole gun where Kevin is explaining it and taking a bunch of questions from us. If anyone wants to see it, of course, it's probably a good idea for you to reach out to him. He did say that you get your choice of, so when you buy that, you get to tell them what optic is going on it.
Okay, good.
So you don't have to go with his setup. So basically, if you have a VP9 or a VP9C, then you can send them in and they'll do this to it.
Okay.
Or you could buy it and then tell them the things that you want done to it. So
that's good news. So this isn't like a package like what I'm looking at right now.
No, you've got some customization. The real cool stuff is the box that comes in, all the foam work that's done to it.
Oh yeah,
and then Kevin's own little twists on it and stuff like I'm saying, but that's where those are the things that are pretty much set in what he's trying to.
I'm gonna have to like do some looking, but like short answer, no, I won't be getting one. It's not my jam. Like what I'm seeing right now doesn't offer me anything that I really think is beneficial to me as a shooter. Like the slide serrations, the forward serrations, like in the window, how he has that all set up. It's just not really optimal for my style. So, that's that.
I understand that. I think you're the kind of guy, you mess with every gun that you get anyway. So I think you're the kind of person that you're going to want to do your thing in your own way.
Super particular about like how something is laid out, like how things are. Like I'm really particular about holster stuff, and it's like I'll try something and I'll see elements of it that I really love, and find a way to incorporate those elements into something else that I really like, and try to come up with the best possible tool for my application. And when it comes to handgun stuff, like all of my guns look really, really similar. Like they. And I'll give you an example here. Let me clear my other carry piece and grab another one. Oh god.
Yeah. Man. And by the way, we're over the 9 o'clock hour. We'll probably go. Are you good to stay on, Mike? You good? Or
I got something else to do.
Yeah, okay. So we're going a little bit over here. We can't say no to Patrick if he's gonna show us guns.
Yeah. Gorn is the way to go, right?
Yeah. So we'll go over for a few minutes here and take a look at some guns. Yeah, and then Armament and Axe is asking me if did KD say you could send any gun in for customizing other than a high point? I think he said something along those lines, but I would want to send in a high point.
Yeah,
I don't think that outcome would be too good.
Yeah, I would want a high point to be truthized.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So, kind of taking a look at the guns that I carry. That's also a bad example.
Yeah, and Mike, do you have something to do with the truth guns, or is that strictly?
That's all Kevin. That was all Kevin. Only thing he told me about it was that he was working on a project. He didn't elaborate on anything. I didn't ask questions, but that was all him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a cool build. It looks like most of the fancy,
Yeah,
like
Patrick is giving his opinion here without like knowing anything about this, so you're gonna hear his opinion of
it's a really uninformed opinion. No, I'm looking. I don't think he's got more than one slide cut, does he?
The slide cut. I'm trying to. I think he had. Didn't he have side and top on the side? Yeah.
On the subcompact, it was just the top, and on the full size, I think it was on both sides.
Yeah. So, man, let's see.
Yeah. I've got a video also on Hank Strange from this gun that's about 50-something minutes long.
Yeah.
Kevin basically tried to kill me while Lola was about to throw the camera at me. That you guys can look at. If anyone buys it, just tell him Hank sent you. Because if 10 people tell him that Hank sent him, then he has to do whatever gun I send him. He has to truthize it.
I think the last time I talked to him, he was already over 15.
From me?
No, I don't know about from you, but I just know the number was over 15.
Okay.
Truth. All right. So subcompact. Yeah, it's just more YouTube stuffs. Anyway, like I was saying, I'm really particular about the things that I look for in a gun that I'm going to use for self-defense. This is the one that I was at the range re-zeroing today, and generally my carry piece has a TLR7 on it because at this current time, this is the best possible light that I have found that is a compact size, meaning it doesn't extend beyond the muzzle of a Glock 19. I don't love the switches on it, but it is 500 lumens. It takes CR123A batteries and has been reasonably reliable. Every one of my carry guns, they all have Trijicon RMR 06s. They're all 3.25 MOA adjustable that I can adjust with the little buttons. They all have backup iron sights. I prefer black ones. Unfortunately, nobody makes only black. These are tritium night sights on the 509. And they all have forward and rear serrations with these really big, deep valleys that extend all the way to the top of the slide, and really narrow peaks. So like the serration part that's cut into it is really big and wide, and like you can kind of see those really well on that gun. Now my Glocks that I carry are much the same. You see how they've got these really deep, wide valleys and really shallow, really narrow peaks, and then the top gets serrations as well. And there's a really big reason for this, and it's not that I believe that press checks are the way of life. It's not that I believe that looking cool is paramount to being successful if you need to defend yourself. It has everything to do with I don't want to put my hand on the dot if I can help it. If I need to run the gun off of the dot, like that's not a big deal. But if I can keep my fingers away from that lens, which can like cause a smudge and like dick with how it projects the dot, I'm gonna do that. So like almost all of my administrative stuff is up here, and if you look at like the 509 as well as the Glock's a little bit further back from the muzzle, but I like my serrations to be kind of about an inch from the muzzle. So the way ATEI does it, really, I've found to be like what I've fallen in love with. And whenever I'm making ready with a gun, if I'm loading, my hand comes up there like this, and that's just how I run the gun. But super particular about my carry guns. Like they all have the same triggers, they all have the same style of mill work, they all have the same
because
RMR.
they're all for you, right? I mean, it's the way that you're going to handle those things. So what happens is, like, no matter what gun it was that you chose, you're going to wind up doing this kind of treatment to it because that's how you handle it. That's what you're going to default to, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's what has, and I hate using the term, but it's what works for me. My performance with these guns seems to be pretty good. Having them set up like this, I can shoot them just about as well as I can a race gun. I can carry them without much of an issue. So all of my carry guns kind of work like this. We are rocking.
So, and you junk carry for anyone who's
yes, I appendix carry because I understand how to properly and safely carry in that particular place. So I've got this is a prototype Henry holster 509 TLR7 holster with discrete carry concepts clips. You'll find
Henry holster.
Henry holsters, yes.
Okay.
You'll find those on these clips on just about every holster that I actually use for carry. So on this 10 core, whatever it is, Velo, I am running discrete carry concept clips because that's what comes on them. They work really well.
Yeah.
Running that on this, I've got a modified Filster Spotlight for TLR7 that also has those. They all have some sort of wedge or claw on them. So there's the mod wing, and that's on just about every holster that I use because understanding how all of that works. Ride height is important on appendix, as is rotating the gun in towards the body. And then all of them get a foam wedge on the back to tilt that gun back in towards my body like that. And it promotes concealment when I'm like bending and all that kind of good stuff. So they all look the same.
That's very cool. That's cool. I
Yep.
never saw the foam wedge before, so there you go. By the way,
Dude, it makes a world of difference.
Yeah, shout out to Harry's Holsters that does.
Yes, Andrew Henry is the man. You know, most of you guys are carrying a holster that was built on a form that he designed and milled, and don't realize it. He supplies a lot of bigger name holster manufacturers with vacuum formers and molds and things like that.
Oh, okay, very cool. All right, listen, I don't want to keep this going. I know Lola's got some stuff to do, but you guys, you got some incredible born from the safes of Patrick Roberts today. and you're planning, I think we're you're are you coming on next week or something?
Apparently I am. I didn't know I was.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to get in the way of Lola and the scheduling, but we're going to get Patrick to come back on here and do stuff as well as Mike. What I want to do is wrap it up, though, because Lola's telling me she's got some stuff to do. So let me
I got to eat.
Yeah. Mike, what do you want the folks out there to know before we get out of here, man?
If anything else, please go follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Follow me on my journey to become, to get my A-class rating in competition shooting. And then go check out www.m-wtactical.com and follow me on all the other projects that I'm doing.
Okay, very cool. And I encourage Mike and Patrick for you guys to link up somehow so next time you're not strangers. Patrick, what do you want the folks out there to know before we get out of here?
Stop buying stuff to try to make you better and go and practice, please.
Okay, good advice. Good advice.
Yeah. You know,
get some training.
Like just go put meaningful practice in. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Figure out where you suck and then get better at what you suck at.
Yeah.
So you can find my stuff in a bunch of places. Most of the really great stuff ends up on firearmrack.com. I've got a couple of guys that are also doing some pretty awesome work over there. So firearmrack.com is the best place to find the stuff that I'm up to. Also Instagram at the Patrick Roberts. I'm not really doing so much with the YouTube thing where I'm currently revamping my plan for YouTube, but that is youtube.com/firearmrack.
What about Instagram?
The Patrick Roberts.
Okay.
But and then you can find my stuff over at Amaland, Recoil Web, and sometimes The Truth About Guns, as well as other places. So I'm kind of everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. He's everywhere. Okay, very cool. Thanks to Patrick. Thanks to Mike for coming on. Thanks for all you guys hanging out with us. We'll be back tomorrow. I have no idea right now who's coming on. Oh, is it Pinkus tomorrow? Lola.
Pinkus.
Yes, Pinkus. Pinkus is going to be here.
Why don't you guys invite me when I can sit there and troll Pinkus in the thing?
You can. You want to troll Pinkus?
I love Pinkus.
Yeah.
He's a working dude.
I have an idea. It's going to be a fun show. So you guys need to tune in tomorrow for Pinkus.
Man.
Yeah, we will be back. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We are out of here. Peace. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah,
We're out.